Welcome to Around the World in 80 Bottles. We've been traveling around for about 40 weeks, exploring different countries' cuisines, and I thought it might be time to cook something fun that's nice and homey and comfort food. But when I start getting this cravings for comfort food and I want to do something like mac and cheese, I don't want to blow all my calories for the month on one meal. So I've been playing around with some things that you can do at home that are really warm and yummy without being, 1,000 calories a spoonful. So we're going to do mac and cheese today, and we're going to add some vegetables. So this way you get all your warmy, cheesy goodness, but you still get vegetables so you can feel like you're having something really healthy. And what I'm going to do first is cook our pasta. And when you cook pasta for something that you're going to bake afterwards, you want to cook it for a couple minutes less than what the package dictates. Today I'm using rigatoni, but you can use anything you'd like for your pasta. So you can do macaroni, like elbow pasta, you can do the little corkscrews, whatever works for you. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my milk nice and hot. So now that I've heated my milk, I'm going to add a lot of cheese, because what is macaroni and cheese without a lot of really good cheese? Now, I'm using fat-free cheddar because, once again, I'm just fooling myself into thinking I'm having something really healthy for dinner when it's not healthy, but this is better than it could be. So we're going to do one fat-free cheese and then one that's full fat. One thing that's a very common misunderstanding on blues and bries is that they're a lot more fattening than hard cheeses. But that's actually very untrue. The way it actually works when you look at fat in cheese is they look at the curds by themselves before you make the cheese. Curds in creamy cheeses actually have more fat per pound, but you add water when you make the cheese, whereas a hard cheese doesn't have the water added. So they're not more fattening, it just appears that way on paper. See, I'm feeling better about this whole meal already. So I'm gonna get this nice and hot. All I did was milk and garlic, adding my cheese. I've got a third cheese, but I'm gonna put that on the top. And I really like doing brie and cheddar together. I like the flavor. You can mix almost anything, but I will tell you that anytime I use an aged goat cheese, it's so pungent that it really takes the dish over. So it's the only thing I would be careful about when you're making this at home. If you want to substitute anything you want to, it's fine, but those tend to be really heavy. Now I took some chopped spinach, an entire package of that, and I let it thaw out. And then I drained it. And then I've got some green peas. Now see, don't you feel better already about this meal? You're getting peas and spinach. Your mom would be so proud. Still smells delicious from the cheese though. And it's getting all nice and ooey and gooey, and yep, peas are really nice. So all that cheese is really gonna melt in there. Right now it just looks like I'm making really cheesy spinach, but that's because I haven't added my pasta. This could not be easier. The only thing I can think of that's easier is that stuff in a box, and this is gonna be a lot better. So we're gonna mix this up really nicely, get that cheese to coat it. Okay, so we've got this all stirred up. The cheese isn't completely liquefied, but we're gonna bake this. Now, what you can do is use your casserole dish and do it as one big thing, but I love the idea of giving everybody their own little pot, because you feel so special when you have your own little dish at a dinner party. So I'm taking these cocottes from Le Creuset, spraying them with a little bit of olive oil, and then I'm just gonna spoon it right in. So you got all your noodles and your veggies and all that good cheese in there. And then what would mac and cheese be without a little more cheese on top? So I'm gonna add, we've got brie, we've got cheddar, and now I'm gonna add, this is actually called Montasio, and it is a Parmesan style cheese, but it's made here in Georgia by Greendale Farm, and I just love it because it's really easy to grate on top, because, you know, all you're ever going to need in a cheese dish is more cheese. That's just always necessary. And I'm going to take that and put it in the oven and bake it for 15 minutes, and it's going to make everything just bubble over and get really, really gooey. So I've got my mac and cheese piping hot right out of the oven, and I couldn't wait to try the wine that I've paired with it. Today I'm doing Bookwalter Subplot, and it's a multi-vintage blend of a lot of different red grapes out of Washington State, and it itself is warm and rich and kind of cozy. It's just homey smelling. It's got this warmth to it. Okay, well, I can't just drink my dinner. I'm gonna have some mac and cheese with it. So I've got my little individual pot here. You can see just steam coming out of it. It's ready to go. Got that spinach and the peas, but there is not any cheese missing from this formula. Oh, it's hot. Oh, it's so good. It's nice and rich and full. I don't mind the vegetables. I don't feel like I'm getting fed a vegetable side. It's really more about the noodles and the cheese, and the spinach is like sticking to the noodles. It's obviously good because I completely forgot I was supposed to take one bite. It's gonna be so good with this wine. The richness of the wine just completely envelops that ooey gooey texture of the cheese. I don't know if I've said ooey gooey enough for this episode, but that's exactly what you want for your mac and cheese. You want it to be rich and full and lush. And the wine has all that going on too, so it matches perfectly. And if you did something that didn't have all that heft to it, I feel like the wine would just kind of sit to the side and you'd say, that's fine, I just want my mac and cheese by itself. But this, I feel like I could probably eat less of it and feel a lot more sated, and really like I'd had, you know, the coziness like you get from a roaring fire, but just from my wine and my food. So anyway, enjoy your mac and cheese. And if you want to not do what I did, which was the little individual ones, you actually can do this as one big pot, and it will be just as good. You just want to cook it for an extra 10 minutes if you're going to keep it in the pot. But your guests would enjoy that thoroughly, and they would also enjoy their little individual ones. And who says you can't make both and have leftovers? Join me next time for Around the World in 80 Bottles. I'm Emily Garrison. Cheers!